Hello! I'm Shoshana and this is my very first devlog. And to be honest, I don't know how to make a devlog, but I do know how to make a game. At least I hope so, since we have developed quite a few together with my husband, and I love it. Our game is called Unrelaxing Quacks, and it is written in Rust programming language. which is very cool, but also very difficult for me, as I'm definitely not a Rust developer. I'm originally a Ruby developer, and right now, currently in my day job, I work as JavaScript engineer. So yeah, so now we are actually using our own engine called Comfy, and my husband promised me that it will be comfy to use, and even I will be able to use it. So I'm trying, and you can see how it is going together with me. Okay, perfect. So this is what I have been doing yesterday, and that is creating these zones. The enemies are not spawning right away, but only when I enter the zone. So if I enter this zone, here are only those normal ducks being spawned inside. But if I kill them all, there are no new enemies. And this zone, it has more types of enemies, as you can see. And the colors those are just debug colors for me to see. And the zone turns white as soon as I enter it. So let me show you how this is done, maybe. Okay, so I created this zone struct, which has the spawner config, which is a config of what is being spawned inside the zone. So the zone, and also it has position and size and debug color. And name is not important. So the spawner config, yeah, it's like info for one mob of this name and how many times it should spawn, and interval is not being used yet. I'm creating the zones here. These are the two which you just saw, red and blue, and I also create some configs, so for duck, butterfly and rooster. And you see that the first zone only have the first config, which is just the normal duck, but the second zone has all three enemy types inside. Okay, so what is happening here is that first I'm going through all the zones, and for each zone I check if it should be active, and this is calculated based on the position of the player. So if the player is inside the zone, then the zone is active. I color it white for debugging, and then if the zone is active, I check the spawner config, and for every of the spawner config, for every mob, I proceed with spawning the mob. So I check how many mobs of the type there should be. Then there is this cool feature of our Comfy engine, which is called cooldowns, and which I can use to slow down something. It just needs a key, and then the like time interval in which this code should happen. So I am spawning the mob, but not faster than once per this number. I calculate the position, which is like random position inside the zone. I flip a coin if the mob is a boss, and then I spawn the actual mob, which means that there is like animated sprite for each mob, and transform, and that's it. And yes, and I also draw the debugging color for every zone. Let's try to do the meditating ducks. So we have this mobs config here already. Don't mind the zombie keys, because it's reusing logic with our other games, Big Gun Survivors, which is a zombie survivors game. So it's not generic yet. So I have it present here in the comments of how it maps to our ducks related enemies. So yes, and now in my actual mob behavior, here is where it gets the direction towards the player, and it then starts to chase the player. So here, let's check the config. If mob config mob type is meditating duck, let's just play the idle animation. How to do it? Sprite play. Okay, sprite play animation idle. I don't know. Let's just get out of here. Okay, so I needed to speed up the footage of this part because I was first adding a special type of mob called meditating duck, and then I realized I do not want to do it like that. I actually want to have a flag for every mob. Yeah. So is meditating. Let's do it like this. Let's just remove it. I don't want to have it as a separate type. Let's remove it. And let's create a zone. Where is it? Zone. Which only produce meditating ducks. So, zone. This zone will be meditation zone. It will be pink. And it will be where it will be. And so what is left to do is to check if the zone is the meditation zone, and if yes, then set the flag on the mob that he is meditating. And since we already altered the behavior of the mobs before, that should be all. So let's see if it works. So you can see that if I enter the meditation zone, the mobs are not attacking me. And this was actually the first step. The next step would be that if I shoot inside the zone, then they would break out of the meditation and attack me. So that was it. Thank you all for listening, and I hope that you liked this little and my very first devlog of Unrelaxing Quacks.